everybody, Prepper003 here today with another gun video for you, and this one is similar to my top 5 firearms for a SHTF or WROL scenario video, but this one is my primary rifle and primary sidearm for a SHTF scenario. So right now I'm going to start off with the pistol, and right now the pistol is my Glock 17 Gen 3, just a bare bones basic, pretty much factory Glock. The only modification that I have to it is I installed some tritium night sights for it, and I also have the Streamlight on here as well. So that's pretty much the only additions that I did to it at all. Besides that, it's been pretty much the same factory Glock that I've had for the past 3 years. And this one right here I primarily carry as my everyday carry pistol as well, whether it be as something for concealed carry or as something that I carry around the shop when I'm working at the gun shop. So it's worked very well for me. I've had minimal issues with it. So that's nice. One of the other things about it is that if I want to save on ammunition or ever want to get the conversion kit for it, I can get a 22 conversion kit to replace the magazine and the slide to allow me to save on ammunition, say in an SHTF scenario does happen, to hunt small game, or to just conserve on conventional ammunition and the weight of that extra conventional ammunition as well. The next one I know is going to be a little bit controversial because I know that there's a lot of debate on what people run for a primary rifle, but right now I chose the AR-15 family of rifles, and right now I'll give you the few reasons why. The biggest thing is that they're modular, and what I mean by that is you can get a 22 conversion kit for this, use that for hunting small game, for conserving ammunition and weight in your bug out bag, put in a brick of 22 and then the 22 conversion kit bolt, and then maybe a couple of actual magazines with your fighting ammunition in it, and you can conserve considerably on the amount of weight, and it also allows you, like I mentioned, to hunt small game with it as well. Then the next thing is that you have caliber conversion kits for it. You can change out uppers, you can swap barrels and bolts and everything, and it's pretty easy to do. All you need is pretty much a standard basic AR-15 armor's tool to remove the barrel nut and take the barrel out and then put a new barrel on. So I know you have to work a little bit with head spacing a little bit, but just getting down to the bare basics of it, it's not that difficult. That's why a lot of people consider these guns Lego guns, if you will. The next thing about it is that they're multi-role. As I mentioned earlier, you can swap out uppers, you can swap out different types of optics very easily for it without having to do a lot of extra things to it. You don't have to worry about the side rail or anything like that like you deal with the AKM variant rifles. You don't have to deal with that type of thing. All you have to do is just deal with the Picatinny rail. You can put scopes on these. You can get red dots, the whole 9 yards for it as well. And then you can also, if you want to go through the paperwork and everything, you can get this SBR, or you can get an AR pistol as well if you want to have something more close quarters. You can get piston uppers for it. It's the sky's the limit when it comes to what you want to do with an AR-15. So that's why I really like the multi-role capability of this, and that you can pretty much make it, if you want to think of it this way, you can fit this rifle to your needed mission, if you will. The next thing I'm going to say is that you can get the UTM conversion kits for these. And what these allow you to do is that they allow you to practice force on force with your fellow preppers in your group, and help to practice maybe mock raids on your prepper compound or your bug out location to help see through some of the holes that you might have in your security plan. You might be able to do some night training as well if you don't want to or cannot shoot live ammunition at night, to practice with your night vision, just because you might get the cops called because of noise and things along those lines, just be causing a lot of noise, or because you're not allowed at certain areas because of the law to shoot at night. So having this really helps. It also helps out with being able to shoot around vehicles without having to worry about damaging your vehicle or anything like that. So that's where this really comes in handy. But I will say that the force on force capability of this is something that is really You feel it when you get hit with these right here. But it's really effective at what it does, and for corrective training, I mean, these things are well worth their weight in gold in training value. The next thing that I'm going to touch on is going to be my AR setup and why I have it set up the way I do. And I'm going to pretty much go from the stock to the muzzle. Now the lower and upper is, the lower is a, just to give you guys that information really quick, the lower is a LWRC M6IC lower with a FN15 upper. Now the stock itself is a standard LWRC stock because it came complete with the complete lower. The sling that I have going on right here is just a standard Magpul sling, nothing too fancy there with it. It's worked very well for me. Now working on to the rear sight, it's just a standard Surplus Maytech rear sight here. Then there is the Trijicon ACOG optic, and this one right here is the TA01 NSN, just a basic 4-power optic. The one thing I really like about this optic is just the reticle over some of the other ACOGs that I have. I just prefer the basic black crosshairs with the bullet drop compensation and the tritium insert for low light scenarios as well. It works very well for me. I haven't had any issues with it at all. And it does come with the QD, well, not QD option, I should say. It comes with the option right here of having these iron sights installed on the top. You just have to know where these things hit because you're having such a high over the bore axis on that. Now I'm going to go on to the rail, and this is just a standard Troy quad rail. Nothing really fancy about that, just a bare bone simple quad rail. Now there is the Vert Grip, and I prefer the Vert Grip over your angled foregrips or the hand stop just on this setup right here because I can easily brace this against cover to help stabilize my shots. If I need to get into some of those more awkward shooting positions, I can brace my hand against here to give myself just a little bit of an extra stabilizer for that, especially when it comes to getting really nice and tight to shoot around a tire on a vehicle and other things along those lines, especially when it comes to bracing up against a barricade. This really does come in handy, especially when you have a lot of stuff going on like I do with my light and laser here. Now going on to the light. And this is going to be the Surefire M952V, which is an IR capable light. And I mainly run this white light, but whenever I need to break out my night vision for running night vision training or doing some practice to Overwatch or something like that of our bug location, I can easily switch this over to IR if I need to. The next thing is going to be my Steiner D-Ball I Square, and just like with the Surefire, this one right here is both visible and IR capable. I mainly use it on IR just for use with my night vision. That's pretty much the only reason that I have this right here is for use with the nods. The next thing that I have right here is going to be the barrel. And I know a lot of you are going to, I think, complain about this is because I know that right now it's really popular to get a really nice CQB 11.5 inch or 10.5 inch or even shorter barrels for working around your house or working around CQB or something as a truck gun. I understand that. I have an AR pistol myself. But for my primary rifle, just because of my area that I live out here, the moment that you get out of town, almost in a 360-degree area around my town where I live and also near my bug location, is open field like and farmlands. So there's a very likely chance that I could get engaged farther out than 500 yards. And right now I know that there's a lot of debate on the bullet drop, the effectiveness of a 10.5 inch barrel and all of that kind of stuff and the velocity. But I just prefer to have the 16-inch barrel just to give myself and that small 5.56 bullet a little bit of an extra edge when it comes to engaging those farther targets. That's just my opinion. So that's why I pretty much run with the 16-inch over the 10.5 or the shorter barrels. The next one is going to be my suppressor, and this is the Silencer Co. Spec War 5.56. I've run this through a couple of classes, and right now it's worked very well along with this rifle since I got it back in February. Right now the rifle has about 4,000 rounds to it. The suppressor has just a little bit more than that because it's been mainly run on this rifle right here and my AR pistol. and it's worked worked very well with both of those pistol and the rifle setups for those ARs. I haven't had any issues with either one of them, so I really appreciate you guys watching. I want to hear your guys' opinion on my setup and maybe what you guys choose to do with your setups as well. I know some of you might like the AKM variant rifles, maybe a battle rifle. It all depends. I own AKs, battle rifles. I own a lot of different types of firearms, but if I had to just pick two and bug out, it would probably be this rifle right here and this pistol. So the last thing I'm going to say is, just if you are going to attach things like this to your rail and to your rifle, find a way to secure it to your rifle, because out in the woods something can happen to where these can get knocked off. The locking mechanisms that lock them on there could fail on you. So just to give yourself that little bit of extra security in it, maybe use some 550 cord or what have you and attach that to your rail just as a added security option, because you don't want to lose these key items that you put on your rifle that could matter later down the road in an SHTF scenario. Even if you're out going on a hike or practicing out on the range, these could come off due to rates of fire, you bumping them, or something along those lines happening. So have a great day. Prepper 003 out.